Imagine your mind as a car. You're behind the wheel, navigating the twists and turns of life. But you're not alone. In the back seat, or sometimes locked away in the trunk, are some very important passengers. Your emotions. Now, you wouldn't hand a toddler the keys to your car, would you? That's a recipe for disaster. But you also wouldn't stuff them in the trunk, muffling their cries and ignoring their needs for years on end. So why do we often treat our emotions this way? Welcome to the complex world of emotional intelligence, where we're not just learning to manage our feelings, but to rescue and rehabilitate parts of ourselves we've long forgotten. Think about it. When was the last time you truly listened to your emotions? Not reacted to them, but really listened? For many of us, the answer might be never. We've been taught to be rational, to push through, to ignore those pesky feelings. We've locked them in the trunk and thrown away the key. But emotions are messengers, carrying vital information about our needs, fears, and deepest values. Ignoring them isn't strength, it's a slow-motion car crash waiting to happen. So what happens when we finally decide to open that trunk? When we begin the inner work of acknowledging and processing our long-neglected emotions? At first, it might seem quiet, too quiet. Years of neglect have taught these emotional children that their voices don't matter. They've learned to stay silent, to hide, to make themselves small. But make no mistake, they're still there, watching, waiting. As you start to engage with these long-ignored parts of yourself, be prepared for chaos. Some might come out swinging, years of pent-up rage and frustration exploding in a cacophony of feeling. These are the emotions that refuse to be silenced any longer, demanding attention with the force of a tidal wave. Others might cower in the corners, too afraid to trust this sudden freedom. These are the vulnerable feelings, the ones that have been hurt too many times. They need gentleness, patience, and consistent reassurance that it's safe to exist. You might find some emotions frozen in time, still reacting to situations from years ago as if they were happening right now. That's because in the darkness of the trunk, they never had a chance to process and move on. They're stuck in old patterns, old hurts, old fears. And then there are the ones that have grown wild and feral in their confinement. These emotions might seem unrecognizable at first, their intensity frightening. They've had to become loud, aggressive, or manipulative just to survive the years of neglect. This internal family system you've neglected for so long is out of balance, each part vying desperately for the attention it's been denied. It's like trying to parent a group of children with wildly different needs, all at once. Some days it might feel easier to slam that trunk shut again, to go back to the familiar numbness of emotional neglect. But that's not the path to healing or growth. Instead, the journey of inner work is about slowly, patiently bringing each of these emotional children into the light. It's about listening to their stories, understanding their needs, and integrating them into your conscious life. It's messy, it's challenging, and it's profoundly transformative. This process isn't about indulging every feeling or letting emotions run wild. It's about finding that sweet spot where emotions inform our decisions without dictating them. It's about nurturing these long-neglected parts of ourselves back to health. Let's break down this process. 1. Acknowledge the emotion. Name it. I'm experiencing anger. This simple act can be revolutionary for a feeling that's been denied for years. 2. Locate it in your body. Is your jaw clenched? Are your fists tight? Reconnecting emotions to physical sensations helps ground them in the present. 3. Identify the trigger. Be specific, not just work stress, but the way my colleague dismissed my idea in the meeting. This helps separate old trapped emotions from current situations. 4. Investigate deeper. What core need isn't being met? Respect, security, recognition. Often, our strongest emotions are tied to our most fundamental needs. 5. Respond. Don't react. Choose an action aligned with your values, not just your feelings. This is where you, the adult, guide these emotional children towards healthier expression. This isn't just feel-good advice. Neuroscience backs it up. When we name and process emotions, we activate the prefrontal cortex, reducing activity in the amygdala, our brain's fear center. We're literally rewiring our brains for better emotional regulation. But here's a common misconception. Emotional intelligence isn't about being calm all the time. It's about having a full, rich emotional life while maintaining the ability to choose your actions. Anger can fuel positive change, Sadness can deepen empathy. Even fear, when understood, can sharpen focus and preparation. The goal isn't to eliminate these emotions, but to harness their power. Consider this scenario. You're about to enter a high-stakes meeting. Anxiety surges. The old you might have either let that anxiety dictate your behavior or tried to squash it down. The emotionally intelligent you acknowledge the feeling, understand it as a sign that you care about the outcome, and channel that energy into heightened preparation and engagement. Reacting takes seconds, responding takes practice. It's the difference between lashing out at a colleague in frustration and expressing your concerns constructively, between stress eating an entire pizza and recognizing you're using food to avoid dealing with a problem. One powerful tool in this journey is journaling, not just recording events, but exploring your emotional landscape. What patterns do you notice? What situations consistently trigger certain responses? This self-awareness is the foundation of emotional mastery. Mindfulness practices can also be game changers. They train your brain to observe thoughts and feelings without immediately attaching to them. It's like developing an internal watchtower, giving you a broader perspective on your emotional weather. Imagine approaching life's challenges not as threats to your emotional stability, but as opportunities to deepen your self-understanding. That's the power of true emotional intelligence. This isn't just personal development, it's a societal imperative. Imagine a world where leaders, educators, and innovators all possessed this level of emotional mastery, where we didn't just pay lip service to feelings, but truly understood and integrated them. The ripple effects would be transformative. And it all starts at home. By modeling emotional intelligence for the next generation, we're equipping them with perhaps the most crucial life skill, the ability to navigate their inner world with wisdom and grace. We're breaking the cycle of emotional neglect, ensuring that future generations don't have to rescue their feelings from the trunk. In an age of online outrage and knee-jerk reactions, cultivating this skill is more crucial than ever. It's about adding a pause between stimulus and response, a pause that can change everything. The journey to emotional mastery is lifelong. There will be setbacks, moments when those long-neglected emotions grab the wheel again. The key is to approach even these moments with curiosity rather than judgment. Remember, these parts of you are learning to trust again, to exist in the light after years in darkness. You'll need to reparent these neglected parts of yourself. Teach them that it's safe to feel, safe to express, safe to exist. Show them healthy boundaries and appropriate ways to communicate their needs. Help them understand that while their feelings are always valid, their old survival strategies might not serve them anymore. This process takes time. Just as you can't expect a neglected child to become a well-adjusted adult overnight, you can't rush emotional healing. There will be setbacks, moments when the old patterns resurface. But with consistent effort and compassion, change is possible. Also, this isn't a one-size-fits-all prescription. Your emotional journey is uniquely yours. The practices that resonate will vary. The key is consistent, compassionate effort. So here's your challenge. For the next week, treat your emotions as messengers, not masters. When you feel something strongly, pause. Ask what they're trying to tell you. Respond from your values, not just your feelings. Start the process of bringing those long-neglected emotional children out of the trunk and into the light. As you progress, you'll start to notice a shift. The once chaotic chorus of competing needs begins to harmonize. You'll find yourself responding to life's challenges with more nuance and flexibility. You'll discover reserves of strength, creativity, and resilience you never knew you had. This journey of emotional mastery isn't just about self-improvement. It's about revolutionizing how we interact with each other and the world. By understanding and managing our inner landscapes, we create ripple effects that can transform our relationships, communities, and society at large. Your emotions are the backseat drivers of your life. They were never meant to be locked in the trunk, nor should they take the wheel. Nurture them like the children they are, with patience, understanding, and firm guidance when needed. In doing so, you're not just managing emotions, you're growing a more resilient, empathetic, and authentic self. So, that's it for today. Please share your experiences with emotional intelligence, subscribe for more insights on personal growth, and let's build a more emotionally aware world together. It's time to open the trunk, face what we find inside, and drive towards a future where all parts of ourselves are welcome on the journey. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.